The Army Painter is my favorite hobby company in the entire world. My desk is literally full of Army Painter products, and it takes me from being an average painter to putting above tabletop standard models out into the tournament scene. Not only that, but the Army Painter has sponsored more competitive play than any other hobby company in the industry. They allow us to keep doing the things that we do. If you enjoy the Army Painter as much as I do, head over to thearmypainter.com where you can use the discount code ARTOFWAR5 to get a discount on your next order. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Art of War. We have an exciting video for you today as John and I are going to be discussing what we would like to see in the next balanced data slate. No, we do not have any information on when it might happen. In previous years, it has happened late September, early October as this type of timing. We have no idea when it'll come, but we thought this was a good opportunity because the meta has kind of settled after the last month or so. We have a WTC coming up. We have a lot of big majors like Nova coming up end of August. So this is a perfect time to revisit and look at how the meta's changed and what we think might need to change about it. Yeah, absolutely. And the last couple of weeks have really shown to me that the tiers have settled. Yes. Right? Maybe not the way that we drew it up in the tier list a couple months ago, but I would say now. And that was before night. It was. Before the night era. But I think now we can construct a pretty universally acknowledged tier list. And I think everyone's kind of on the same page about where we sit right now. Yep, absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and kind of work through the current balanced data slate and look at what we think might need to change about it, maybe some of the core rules, and also for different factions, and then kind of give our overall summary on how we're feeling about the game right now. So if you are joining us, please do give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and tell your friends about us. All of that massively helps us grow. In addition, leave a comment below letting us know what you think of the current state of the meta, what you think needs to change for your factions, for the game as a whole. We'd love to hear from you. This type of discussion is really healthy because there are people from Games Workshop who do watch these videos, who do read the comments, and you sharing your thoughts and opinions in a constructive manner is majorly positive and effective. Absolutely. Just let us know what you think. I, for one, I really want to see the Death Guard players let me know what they think should change. I won't lead you. You tell me. Do you think Mortarion should be cheaper? If that's what you think is the problem right now, then just go ahead and let us know. Honestly, we want to hear it. Honestly, John, so on Tuesday, we released a tier list for Chaos Knights, and I read through several of the comments, and several of them were about why can Chaos Knights not do X thing? Why can they not Overwatch? Why can they not do this and that? And okay. You know what? I don't think you need it now. Not right now. I would trade that for some points. You know what? Yeah. How about that? I would trade points for options. All right. If you do super chat, we really do appreciate that a lot. We will get to all the super chats at the end of the video together. So we will not miss them. We'll go back and do them. But thank you so much in advance for super chatting. If you have any questions for us, if you want us to focus on particular things, maybe that we don't discuss here, we will answer it in those super chats. Absolutely. And if, by the way, you are coming to this expecting Black Templar and Grey Knight discussion, this is not that video. Stay tuned. We'll be doing that next week. So come back in 7 days. Apologies for that. We did have to slightly tweak the schedule to adjust for the realities of life. Yep, our Black Templar expert is not quite 100%, but Papa Nurgle might have gotten to him. He's crusading. He will be soon. He's crusading. Right now, I would say he's afflicted, but soon he will be crusading again. Can't keep a good crusader down. All right, so let's go ahead and swap in over to the current data slate. Now, in the last update, we didn't really get any changes to the core rules. Games Workshop has kind of settled in since the beginning of 10th on these are the main things that need to be changed in a more general, broad manner. How do you feel about these ones, John? You kind of happy with how the core rules are? Anything stand out? Yeah, broadly speaking, there's nothing that I really was missing where I was like, I really wish they would change this. I do think that as a broad stroke, there is one core rule. This isn't even a core rule, just one thing that would go in this section. I would say that I don't like 6-inch deep strike and charge. Now, the problem that I have with that is that there are several things that would have to be heavily rewritten if that were to be changed or removed, right? Because I'm just going to be honest here. If you tried to use tunnel markers to appear 6 inches away and not charge, subterranean assault would be awful. Or Warp Bane, a big part is the 6-inch deep strike to mobilize your units. So I don't have a solution ready for that one, but that's the only one. And for me, I honestly think that you can leave it in and make other adjustments to keep that balanced rather than change that rule itself. So for me, I would not change
the ability to 6-inch deep strike and charge. Instead, I would go into each specific example and address it as necessary.
What if it was an option? What if you could decide to 6-inch deep strike, and if you did, you cannot charge regardless. Just make that a general thing. So something like, I believe it's Demons and Warpbane that have the 6-inch charges. Is there another one?
Subterranean Assault.
Subterranean Assault, and and Death Shroud. So those are the 4 big ones.
I forgot about Death Shrouds.
I've never lost a Death Guard, John, and I won't. Necrons, baby. Silent King says no. Anyway.
All right, the man will not leave the house. I hear him.
So they could change that, and then the other way is if you do want to charge, maybe it's -1 or 2 to charge. So instead of being a 6-inch charge, it'd be a 7 or... Yeah. I think a 7 is a perfect... 7?
I would
make it a 7?
I would rather just make that a 7-inch deep strike.
Then I guess it hurts getting onto objectives in specific ways or whatnot. But yeah, you can make it...
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay.
You're right.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, but I think ultimately, though, I would leave it there, and I'd rather go fix Death Shroud. And because I don't think it's broken everywhere it appears. It's just
it's not broken in Warpbane, for sure.
No, it's not.
Okay. Armor Contempt, I'm pretty happy with this. Honestly, it was overbearing in the game. It's just too strong. I think the only way to go back on this would be to restrict it from 2-up save units. Because it's not really a problem on 3-up save units, 4-up save units, whatever.
Yeah,
but 2-up save, that was the problem. The rest of it, I'm pretty happy with those overall.
Yeah, ultimately, I really wouldn't change the corals. I quite like where they're at. And as a Marine main, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand how we got here.
All right, cool. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the factions. Sisters have seen a resurgence recently, which is really nice to see. They've gotten 2 sets of buffs in a row to kind of bring them a bit closer to where they were. A lot of points decreases as well. They're not dominating the meta, but I think 2 weeks ago they had a 58% win rate. So from weekend to weekend they swing, but players are actually having a lot more fun playing them, which is great to see.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with where Sisters are at. The fact that they are not more popular, in my mind, is purely to do with other armies, not them.
There's a lot of really good armies at the top.
They definitely don't need any buffs. I don't think they need nerfs because they're not dominating event results. They're just a little bit better than average. And you know what? I don't think we have to kill armies that are slightly above average, right? We don't need to nerf 49% of the armies in the game every
No, I think Sisters are in a perfect spot, and they will be helped tremendously by the top dogs getting limited, just like pretty much every faction.
Yeah, if the big 3, we all know who. If the big 3 were to get hammered, I would not be surprised to see Sisters become a top 3 army in the game.
It would not shock me at all.
Yeah, you could try to prevent that by maybe handing Castigators 5-10 points. Again, I think they went down too much last time if I had to offer an opinion, but not significantly, and I'd be perfectly fine with Sisters staying put.
What about the Exorcist?
No. That one can go rot in PDC jail.
Last year at WTC was everywhere.
Oh my god.
Triple Exorcist all over the place.
It shaped the WCW meta as well.
Yep. So Adeptus Custodes here. I think that the biggest thing for them would be to get another detachment. Now, Games Workshop has... I know. Games Workshop has, in the last couple of balanced data slates, given new detachments to armies with codexes. I think, in my opinion, they've seemingly given 3 each time. I think out of the armies that need it the most, it's Custodes, because their codex detachments are relatively subpar, and some of them are completely terrible. Lions of the Emperor has become the de facto way to play. I think having a second option would be really nice. I think Admech is another army that, if they're not going to go back and redo the codex detachments, they just need a different playstyle. I'd base that around Tech Priests personally, and being near Tech Priests, or getting benefits from them. Who would be the third, though, John?
You're not going to like my answer.
Emperor's
Children.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
One detachment.
Why wouldn't I like that answer?
Because I'm always shilling for EC.
No, I don't mind that.
Always shilling
honestly,
for EC.
I think it's one of the coolest Chaos Space Marine armies.
It is the
cult armies. Yeah,
it's the coolest cult army by a mile.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
They have one competitive detachment. A second one has seen play sometimes, and that's basically it.
Yeah. And what I would genuinely love, Battle Line Noise Marines. Look, GW, all the Emperor's Children players have already bought the rule of 3 of the army because there's 4 data sheets. So if you want another $1 for me, you got to make a new kit or make Noise Marines Battle Line.
What if there was a new detachment that gave you Forge Fiends and the other stuff you didn't get?
That's how you're going to phrase that? I hate you.
I would give them to you, John, to be clear. But
what I would say is on the couple of armies that you've mentioned, Custodes, I think that they should change the kata. The karate.
The army roll?
Yep. I think you should give a -1 to hit and combat back.
As one of the 3 options?
One of the 3, yep. Just straight revert it.
I would not mind that whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think it'd be perfectly fine.
If they want to go offense, it's the same as before, but gives them more options for not being dead.
Yeah. I think the trend that we've seen is that besides Wardens, a lot of stuff has like slowly come down with Custodes, and the more and more things go down, the less elite they become. They should be, they shouldn't be kind of similar to Marines in the amount of units they have.
You cannot make Custodes cheaper than they currently are.
Yeah.
And at their current price, I agree that Custodes are not good enough, but you cannot make Custodes cheaper without ruining the theme of the army or without making Custodes completely broken. Because if Wardens went down 5 points and at the same time we got big 3 nerfs, Death Guard, IK, just to be clear, then Custodes would suddenly be insane. And you can't do that. So, buffs.
Yeah. All right. So that's the old Custodes. Admech has been languishing in the down in the dungeons for a while in terms of win rate. Sometimes they swing up in a particular weekend, but basically they need a different playstyle that is more damage oriented, or at least fits with the more modern armies that we've seen the past several months. So I think a detachment would go a long way, but in terms of the rules, I would really just look at a couple of their units here, something like some of their anti-tank units. The Onager in particular stands out. And just make it better. Honestly, make it actually fill an anti-tank role.
Yeah.
They're lacking that killing elite infantry, killing durable vehicles. They just need a couple units that can do that more consistently. And then I'd pick one of their melee units and actually make it a real melee unit instead of just trash.
I do sometimes forget that Admech used to be a melee army.
Yeah, it's significantly so. I used to run. I remember all the Rustalkers?
Yeah, I do remember that, actually. I didn't
You can run that, but it's mostly to pick off characters and tie stuff up. And block.
Yeah.
You're not killing God. Like, I was killing Custodian Dreadnoughts with Rustalkers. That was the old thing. And they don't need to go back to that, but just, I should be able to pick up a decent, a 2-up save unit, 5 Purifiers. I should be able to kill that. So those are the changes I would make. I think the detachment would go a very long way. Halo Screwed was a great add. It's a very balanced detachment. A lot of different units can fit into that. I think having something similar and maybe based around Tech Priest would be an excellent thing to add.
Yeah, it is shocking. There isn't like a Tech Priest detachment, right?
The Tech Priests are the worst characters. Basically, the Marshal is just a better character than the Tech Priests. They just don't do very much. They don't do damage. They don't have that many buffs. You can run the Manipulus and the Cataphrons, and he's pretty solid there, but it doesn't help the army. Like, the Tech Priest should be directing the army, really.
I would love to see an Admech detachment, but I think realistically an Admech detachment would just, be their detachment. Like, if you give them a new one that's decent, every other detachment dies immediately, right?
That's why I think you pick a couple of the data sheets and you also tune them up.
Yeah.
You could go back into all the Codex ones and change those ones, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done on that, frankly, and it's probably easier just to create a new one. All right, Aeldari. So Aeldari is an army that basically is hiding right below the top armies. A lot of top players, Nick is playing them, Jack has been playing them, Liam VSL, a lot of very, very good players across the world are playing them.
Well.
And doing extremely well, barely losing any games whatsoever, and dominating most games. And this is one of the armies that actually plays extremely well into the 3 best armies in the game right now. Yes. And so if you go for a situation where you mostly focus on nerfing Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights, and Death Guard, and you don't really touch the next layer, and I think there's 2 armies in my mind, Aeldari being one of them, that stand out as that next top tier, then these armies are just going to be the next dominant force.
I feel like I know what your other one is, but we can wait to get there. I have a
you can say it.
Thousand Suns?
No, GSC.
GSC. You know what?
Thousand Suns are up there for sure.
That's also...
But Host of Ascension specifically,
I
think it's been doing really, really well, both teams and singles. But for Aeldari, it's tricky because for the most part, the detachments you're seeing are Warhost and Aspect Host. They're really trying to overwhelm people with mobility, the sheer amount of mobility of their units, the high damage output of their units, and a lot of mortal wounds, dev wounds access. So, but if you nerf the data sheets, you nerf every detachment. So do you focus on Warhost and that? Do you focus on a couple interactions? I think it's very tricky of what to do exactly for Aeldari. Fuegan and his fire dragons and Lycus and our warp spiders stand out as
Oh my god.
two things that are kind of outside the scope of the game if you can use them multiple times.
Yeah, so I think with Eldar, I don't think they need heavy hits. I think a part of them being so good right now is that they play well into the top, and if the top changed, they might actually fall a little bit.
That's fair.
So they could be less dangerous just off of that. But I would make small adjustments to Eldar, which is I think you could buff a few units and nerf a few units and do one of those even mixes. Where, like, I think Warp Spiders could go up. Yo, Necron. I think you could send Warp Spiders up 5 and, like, Lycus up 10. Maybe Jane Zar up 5 or 10. I think she's incredibly good. And then you could also, at the same time, bring down other units that are, like, on the edge of competitive. Like, I think you could drop, the Fire Prism 5. I think you could drop Shining Spears 10. You like a couple of those, a couple at the same time. Just like a little bit of evening it out. I also, if I was going to go make a rules change, I think I would tone down Fire Dragons because there's too dynamic. Like the difference between durability and output is so severe, especially for a unit that cannot be overwatched if it needs to be, that I don't think you can ever cost appropriately. Because like when stats,
especially when you add in Fire and Fade.
Yeah, this is like a broad theory thing, and I've seen this across editions. When something is like tough and hits hard, you can cost appropriately. When something is tough and doesn't hit hard, it's very hard to cost appropriately. Because if you make it too expensive, it's awful. It's the Nurgle Demon problem, right? Nurgle Demons are either like terrible or broken, right?
Yep.
Like we've seen Nurgle Demons like as a concept be the best army in the game, and we've seen them be awful. And then you have the other side of it, which is like the GSE problem, where if something like you can't make a T3 1 wound model, like you can't make 5 Fire Dragons cost 100 points. It's a 1 wound elf. I get it. I'm not trying to say that. If I were to change Fire Dragons, I would take away the rerolls to damage. Just keep hit and wound rerolls into vehicles are good enough.
One change I could look at, because I think the stratagems, honestly, especially in Warhost, are what puts the army over the edge.
That is true.
You have, 2 different ways to Fire and Fade. You can bring Eldrad, so you guarantee will get to do them on your turn if you want to. I don't think nerfing Eldrad is the way to go. I think it actually would be, if your unit has a Phoenix Lord in it, it costs 2 CP. And that way, if you want to Fire and Fade Fuegan's unit, that's your turn's worth of command points. You can't do it that and the Lycus play. You can't do all the different double plays that you could. That could be one way to get around it.
You'd have to do the same for Skyborn Sanctuary, otherwise they just switch which one they're
That's what I'm
right?
saying, yeah.
So do it for both?
Yep, do it for both.
That's fair. I feel like that just kills the Phoenix Lords, is the problem. And then instead you just put an Autarch
I think you just don't spam them, or you don't expect all of them to live every turn, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. That's fair though, yeah.
I think you would still run those type of units. It just
maybe you do still take
it's not I just get to have my cake and eat it too.
The Eldar player
actually have to
must
take a
have
risk.
their cake and must eat it too. I assure you that is part of their plan.
You could also think about reducing the army roll, the amount of tokens that you have, so that it's not quite as egregious how many different plays you could come up with.
That is pretty good. It's like 4 free strats a turn, yeah. There's a lot of options there, but I think the theme though is that I don't think Eldar need a large touch at all.
I'm not going to put Fire Dragons up 30 points or something.
Which is what they deserve, but I also acknowledge you just can't make an elf, like a 1 wound elf cost. Like you just can't make them cost too many because it's only T3 1 wound.
Yeah.
And if you do that across the board and cost them what they deserve.
They could go the route of Sunforge in Tau, where you get the reroll wounds and damage, but don't get the hit rerolls.
Yeah.
And in that case, they can go back to their original points cost. And that way, defensive mechanics like smoke and stuff matter.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that too. I think they should only reroll 2 of the 3 steps, basically.
Yeah. Once you roll all 3, if you also have mobility on top of that,
and
it's
flipping
like
dice.
and flipping dice and Fire and Fade. It's like Eradicators are limited by their mobility, and they're not like super durable.
Yeah, they're not super durable.
Neither are Fire Dragons.
Because they are both relatively durable and expensive, like Eradicators get to do things. And for what it's worth, I'm going to argue for Eradicator nerfs as well. I don't think they need it from a balance perspective, but I don't think they should do their rule in Overwatch. I think they should only be shooting phase.
Yeah,
I just think that was a good change for Fire Dragons, and I want to see them make that.
Be consistent across
I want to
the
see that
game.
be consistent. Love Eradicators, but they don't need that.
Ashtamil Tarim.
This is hard. Guard is really good. Asterisk. It's weird because like if you just look at it objectively, like Guard have gotten some form of nerf like 4 or 5 balance patches in a row. Just like the last 12 months, every single update has included a nerf of some kind. And despite that, the Guard win rate drops, but Guard continue to be capable of putting up top results. Well, I saw this online. I regret I don't remember who said it because I thought they phrased it quite well. was that they have basically just been trimming the safety net for guard without lowering the power.
That's fair.
And I think
there's been a lot of points increases around.
Yeah,
the army.
like I mean, I look at what was in my list 12 months ago. It was insane. There's so much stuff.
Art have ridiculously cheap units.
They still do, but less than before, right? Everything that was too cheap has gone up. I don't think guard needs much. I think like a current 2K guard list doesn't have to go down. I think it could still be 2K. I don't think guard needs any nerfs, just to be clear. But if I got to make some choices here, all right, we're gonna go for this. Commissars should join Bulgrin and be able to order them. Commissars already have limits of what orders they can give. They can only give 2 of the 6 orders. And so you would not be able to, if this could happen, you would not be able to move with Bulgrin. And so I think that Bulgrin don't need to go back to having the full suite of orders, but I think Bulgrin should be allowed to take non-zero of the orders. And I think
which ones? Is it +1 weapon skill?
It's fixed bayonets and +1 leadership OC. Those are the 2 that the Commissar can give. I think those are extremely reasonable on Bulgrin. Not getting move still provides the unit a clear weakness. It is a melee unit that moves 6 and ever faster. And I think if Commissars can join Bulgrin, Commissars are like 30 points because they're awful. I would.
It's the cheapest character in the game, right?
It's got to be one of them. Yeah, it's.
I don't know if there's a 25-point character.
I think it's 30 though. I think it's 30. It might be 35. But no, Commissars. So we're gonna do just a few. Commissars can join Bulgrin. 2, they're not gonna do this. I think a lot of the rules in the Codex need to be changed from infantry to infantry or mounted. I'm sorry, they gave us new Rough Rider models. Let me use them. 3, Marshal Dreer down 40 points. Dreer should not be better. He's not Lord Solar. He should not be Lord Solar. I do not need 2 Lord Solars. He should just go down half in cost. Like, he needs to be like 50 or 60. He's not that good. Like,
yeah, no,
he costs more than like some like the characters that he costs more than would like blow your mind. But he just needs to go like way down. Yeah. I think he released at 100.
Something crazy.
And like there's like a real point where he costs more than like Vulcan Heston. And I'm like, oh, the guy who gives reroll wounds to every Melt-A-Gun and Flamer to my army, or Marshal Dreer, he gives my 1 damage melee unit dev wounds, which is, it doesn't even sound that bad. But then like you like do the unit, you're like, oh, this is a unit of 10 Space Marine Scouts that costs like 300 points. I'm like, oh, right, we're not.
The model's so cool too.
It's the model super.
So you think more quality of life changes?
Quality of life changes, just to give it a little variety. Again, just like also Scions can go down 5 points, just a little bit. We don't need to go all the way back to where we were, but like you just don't take Scions anymore, and I think that's tragic. Like I think because it like Bridgehead Strike got just like the triple tap, and it only needed 2 nerfs. It didn't need 3, and we do not need to go all the way back. I'm not asking for Bridgehead Strike at full power, but like give me 5 points per 5 on every variant of Scion. It'll be cool. That's it.
All right. Yeah, I like all that. Black Templars, they obviously have a new book. They very unlikely to get changed. So
I have no idea if they're doing
we're going to have to wait to see once they're officially out. Blood Angels here. So they had some crazy points decreases that the meta really hasn't seen the impact of because Knights are literally everywhere.
And Death Guard. Yeah.
And Blood Angels struggle into those. I do think Sanguinary Guard really shouldn't be as cheap as they are.
Yeah.
The 3-man unit, that's kind of crazy.
I would roll that back.
But what I would look at is some of the characters and synergies don't actually matter. Kind of like we were talking about with Guard. Mm-hmm. The Sanguinary Priest got a gorgeous new model. He literally can only join the most garbage units and give them 5 up pain. Can we please let him join Blade Guard or something relevant, please? And you can make him more points. Make him more points.
I was going to say, if he can join Blade Guard, he has to cost more.
More 100%. Let's make him more points. But let's actually be able to use this character. He is completely pointless right now. Same thing for a couple of the other characters that exist out there, especially some of the Death Company characters. Mm-hmm. They just need a little bit more something going on. Otherwise, Blood Angels are pretty balanced as an army.
They're in quite a good spot.
I think they're in a good spot. We just don't see that good spot because the top of the meta is kind of restricting what you can do.
Very much strangles certain builds right now.
I think Blood Angels are one of the armies that's primed to step up as well.
Yep.
Chaos Knights. It says none here, John.
This is the...
I don't think it'll be saying none in a couple months.
So, okay. Chaos Knights are too strong. Let me start this. I'm a Chaos Knight fan, so I'm going to be trying to defend them here. However,
I'm not.
That's fine. I agree that they need changes. Do we think that Chaos Knights can be fixed with points? Because, like, I honestly think Chaos Knights can be fixed with points.
The Infernal Household set of rules is absolutely insane.
It's really
and
good.
Some of the Lord of Dread rules are also pretty crazy. I think the points increases. So for me, I like seeing big knights.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like seeing 4 big knights, 5 big knights, 6 big knights. That's a mistake.
4 is my upper limit.
I think even then, 4 is kind of oppressive. You know, you look at Imperial Knights, you have Canis, 3 Atropos, and a bunch of Armigers. It's just like, you still have to have a certain level of high meta damage output to be able to deal with that. I think 3, realistically, is what you should be able to have. And I think if Knights got some points increases to make sure that the better Knights aren't just so cheap as they are. Like, the Forge World Knights don't need to be that cheap. It's just insane compared to some of the other ones. I would personally restrict it so that you can only ever run 3 of the large Knights. Yeah. And then the Tyrant class is a separate like qualifier on there.
That's fair.
And I think that would be reasonable.
So you can only run 3 Abhorrent class Knights / Erastus. You can only run like 3. Yeah. Okay.
I think that would be a lot more because then you don't have to just yank the points so far up that you can't realistically run that many in a list. Yeah. Because that was a huge part that was restricting them, is they had to be overcosted because you could run too many. I think if you put an artificial like rule in how many you could run, you can keep them a bit cheaper, because now it's not I spam 3 of this, 2 of this, 1 of this, and it's here's my list. Yay. Mm-hmm. That's the direction I think I would go, because I like seeing big knights. I don't want them to be priced out of the game again, and you only see Helverins. That was pretty boring.
It was.
What do you think?
Yeah, so I think that would be a cool way to do it, but I still think you have to put some points nerfs down.
100%.
For my money, if I look at a Chaos Knight list, I think it needs to cut like a whole Armiger. Like I think a Chaos Knight list needs to go up in the ballpark of 150. I would apply that differently in some places than other. If I were to try to rebalance Chaos Knights, I know whenever you nerf a faction that's too good, you never buff it at the same time, because only Eldar get that treatment, and that's a horrible idea. But if I got to do it, I would do it differently, because obviously I know better. So the internet works, right? So I would take the Despoiler for CK up 30. It's so good. It's the best one by a mile.
It's the double gun guy.
It's the double gun guy. Whoa. He could take double combat weapons too, Richard.
Never to be seen.
Never to be seen. And then I would take like the Abominant up. I think I would take every Knight chassis up 10 as a default. And then I would go single out like the top 3 or 4. And I would have them go up more. So like the ones that don't get taken, the Desecrator, the Rampager, still goes up 10 just so that we don't accidentally pivot into, that's fine, I'll just take these knights instead. And so every knight up 10. And then the Ruinator goes down 10 instead. It's still the worst one in the game if you do that, don't worry. It's a new model. So, honestly, it could go down to 30 and I wouldn't take it.
You think 150 is enough? I feel like that's not.
You feel like that's not?
So how many Armigers do you realistically, let's say 4 big knights. How many Armigers do you get in there?
Usually it's 4-4. My preferred build is 4-4.
4-3 that's still a lot. Mm-hmm. I think it has to be more than that.
You think
I think it has to be an Armiger plus something else, and whether that's the Plague Bearers in your backfield, that's your Solar Beast and Nurgle, that's a set of enhancements. I think it has to be more than that.
200's fair. So okay. So I think the Despoiler I would go up 30. I think the Atropos I would go up 20. I think every knight that's not currently getting seen goes up 10 just for or maybe 15, just for good measure. And I think you can take that doesn't add up enough, honestly.
You need to go back up.
You need to go higher on that, yeah.
I think the Despoiler 30 points is just not going to be enough. They're still the best knight by a significant margin. Double gun is pretty ludicrous.
Yeah, because honestly I think one of the problems here is that I actually don't think that the Armigers need to go up.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't recommending that. I'm focused entirely on big knights.
So let's do 20 for every knight, and then Atropos Despoiler 40. Honestly, if the Atropos was never good again, I wouldn't even be bad. I haven't finished painting mine yet. It's fine. Yeah. I think we could do. God, that's still not enough. Yeah.
I see. You're coming up with a real problem. Is like these knights are just too cheap.
They're just too cheap. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I think it has to be more than that.
Because one armiger, I think they're still crushing most armies in the game. They're still suppressing so many armies out of the meta. Mm-hmm. I think if you can fit 4 big knights and 3 armigers, that's still too much.
Yeah. My
points are fine. Get out of here. Get out of here.
If I got to like write an ideal like knight list, I think the perfect balance is 3 bigs, 6 armigers. That's what I want to be 2K. So we'd have to make the points work for that. So, you know, honestly, let's just do a quick calculator. So if the 6 dogs are 140, and then let me do that math again. So I'm just wondering what would the average cost have to be here? Minus 2,000, okay, divided by 3. Yeah, honestly, if
they have to be close to 400.
They'd have to be like 380.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, you know what? If
I think those decreases were just ludicrous.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
70 to 100 points on a lot of knights, that I don't know how that number came up.
So
it's crazy.
So you know what? All right. So here's where we're going with then. The Chaos Knights you don't take go up 30 points. The Rampager, the Desecrator, the Abominant. The Ruinator does not change because it's the worst one. And I'm sorry, the Ruinator is not allowed to go up in points. The Ruinator could go down 30 points while everything else went up 40 points, and I would still not take it because it's awful.
That's fair. That's fair.
And yeah, I think the Despoiler you could go more like up 50.
That'll add up.
Yeah, and then I think Despoiler, Atropos. So yeah, everything goes up 30. Despoiler, Atropos goes up 50. Tyrants go up I think Tyrants up 30, 40 is also fine, honestly. I think that'd be enough.
Yeah, and I think Imperial Knights need to do exactly the same thing. And
Canis up 70.
Canis needs to go right back up to where he was. There's no reason for him to be
Canis
that
Rex is inexcusable.
Apparently, they never see Canis out in the UKTC meta. It's like, how?
It's all right, look, as soon as we see, oh my god, no, I can't even go there, dude. Canis Rex.
Chaos Demons. I think Chaos Demons are in a great spot, honestly. I think they need more diversity in some of their data sheets, which has just been a problem throughout. And I think a lot of, you have Bellicor is excellent. The Shadow Legion detachment has been a great boon to them.
And I still see the index kicking pretty decently.
I would probably look at some of the 4 detachments for the cults, or not cults, they
all need buffs.
Yeah, the demon specific ones, the god specific.
I have a very specific complaint about the last balance patch for demons. Do you want me to rant?
Sure.
Okay. So in the last balance patch, they changed the cost of one of the Tzeentch demon stratagems from 2 CP to 1 CP. This was not in just that change was not offensive at all. That stratagem going from 2 CP to 1 CP was not a big deal. It didn't make them broken. It's just nice quality of life for Tzeentch. How did the balance team look at Chaos Demons and said, oh yeah, we're going to buff Scintillating Legion a little bit, and then completely ignored the other ones? Scintillating Legion is not great. I wouldn't even say it's the best of the 4 Chaos God detachments. That's probably the Nurgle one. But how are you going to go in and say, we are willing to look at changing the God detachments, and then you do nothing for the Khorne one, and nothing for the Slaanesh one?
That's the more offensive one, is the Slaanesh one took a huge amount of nerfs. It was the highest win rate detachment after Grotmas, which it was very strong. It won a bunch of super majors.
I understand why it got nerfed.
But what they did was they nerfed it, and then they created all new data sheets, most of which were significantly nerfed from the data sheets that existed when the detachment first released. So I think they can take a lot of the nerfs to the detachment and roll those back because a lot of the data sheets were nerfed.
You could also buff the Khorne detachment. The Khorne detachment is genuinely awful. Yeah, it's so bad. What is it? It's like a D6-inch blood surge when someone moves within 6 inches of you.
Yeah.
And then people just walk up to point blank range and be like, "You're a Khorne demon with no deliverability, right?" They're like, yeah, that's me. Bang! Like, oh my god, the Khorne demon detachment. I don't like Khorne, just to be clear. I think it's kind of
their data sheets are some of the best that demons have.
Yeah, but as a concept, Khorne bores me as a god. Khorne is boring to me. Slaanesh much better. But Khorne got done so dirty, and I'll defend him in this one because we don't really have a Khorne demon
At least
lover.
Scarbrand is awesome.
Just
Not enough for that detachment to work.
the
But
detachment is awful.
the one in World Eaters, the one where they get the Khorne demons,
That
is
one's cool.
1,000 times better
That
than
one's
the Blood Legion one.
Yep.
But yeah, I would look at more diversity. I think this is very true of a lot of the armies that. Now, demons are not one of the worst armies in the game anymore, but for a while they were towards the bottom. Is there's just a lack of diversity in play styles, and that's the thing that I think should be focused on.
Khorne bores me. Yawn.
Jan Lennon,
That's
the
how
legend
it happens
himself.
Every time I think of Khorne, man.
That's how John gets all his yawns out. He's like, Scarbrand again. All right, Chaos Space Marines. So they have consistently been one of the better books because they've had so many different viable play styles. They have been hurt more recently by the fact that Chaos Space Marine players have so many different options. Emperor's Children, Thousand Sons, Death Guard, World Eaters. All of them have very good, strong detachments. Yeah. So it's not obvious, should I take Creations of Bile versus this? Should I take, whatever, Packbound, Renegade Raiders? How do you feel about CSM?
I actually just really like where they're at. I think they're quite good. I do not believe that they are too strong. I do not believe they need any buffs. If you wanted to, so depending on how you view the what a faction should be, I think Chaos Space Marines have a minimum of 3 good detachments. Now, to be fair, they have 10. And so I'm super down for someone to say, oh, we should go make Dread Talons and what is the Alpha Legion one called? Sneaking Ears?
Deceptors.
Deceptors, right.
How did I remember that? I don't know. I've never played against it.
You could go in and you can make Dread Talons and Deceptors better, and there's no problem with that. But if you view changing rules as a finite amount of energy, I would say CSM needed the least. But if you had spare effort as a rules team and you were able to go buff those 2 detachments, I think it would be a net positive. I would just say that CSM need help less than others because they have, in my mind, Veterans of the Long War, Renegade Raiders, Creations of Bile are all very good detachments, and you do have niche detachments like
you still see Packbound too.
Chaos Cults and Packbound are both also good.
Yeah. If we're looking at Custodians and Admech versus CSM,
yeah,
definitely the first 2 would require more effort. Yeah.
And so if effort is a finite resource to be spent, I would say CSM needed the least of the armies that could use some help. But because they don't need it from a balance perspective, they need it from an internal, let's get more diversity in there.
Yeah.
But again, if I just say, oh, you have 3 to 5 viable detachments, depending on how loose you want to be with it, that is more than almost any other army in the game. It's just that CSM has so many detachments that some of them are bad. And I got to tell you, I don't think that those detachments need any help, because if you're going to do that, then we have to go fix, every single army's bad detachments, right? We have to,
and there's plenty of them out there.
There's so many out there, right? That's when we have to go rewrite the 3 Dark Angel detachments that are.
We need to do top 10 worst detachments
again.
Did we do that? When did we do that?
It wasn't. I was not involved in it. Okay. I just know that. I
did do. I was on that video, but that was a while ago.
I know I petitioned to get one of the EC detachments in there.
That was a while ago. The meta has changed rapidly.
Champions of Slash. That one's bad.
Yes.
Chosen, one of the 2.
Dark Angels.
This is hard. Okay, you know what? We didn't address this with Blood Angels, but I've got it now. Black Templars are out in the wild, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I haven't actually read the Black Templar Codex. I've just been in the room while other people talked about it and played games with it, so I'm starting to catch on to what's happening. But they don't.
We'll talk about it next Thursday.
But they don't have Oath of Moment.
Yes, they don't.
I think that was a fantastic change. I think that was a great idea, and I really desperately think you need to do it to Dark Angels. Dark Angels have a huge problem that's going to sound like a first world problem because it's not that big of a problem. It's that they're right next to Codex Space Birds. And there are now 5 Dark Angel detachments. They are all bad. Not middle of the pack. Wrath of the Rock is bad. I will not be moved from this position, to be clear. They are bad. And so you just put Deathwing Knights into Gladius, and you say, would I rather my Terminators be tougher, or would I rather have +1 wound and, choice of characters? You could fix this with another Dark Angels detachment. Maybe the 6th Dark Angel detachment will be remotely playable. and I appreciate that they're trying. And, the rules that they put down, made it sound like it was going to be good, right? I really read Wrath of the Rock and I was like, oh man, maybe they've done it. No, they did not. It's awful. Yeah, I'm sleep deprived right now, folks. You're getting sassy, John. Enjoy. I think that you don't fix Dark Angels by giving them a new, better detachment, because as soon as you do that, there's only one build. You get the lag problem, and I do think that Blood Angels have the same problem. I think that you strip Oath of Moment from every chapter that has a supplement. If you get a supplement, you replace Oath of Moment with a rule. Dark Angels don't actually need Oath that much. Every unique Dark Angels unit is weapon skill 2. One of their chaplains gives rerolls to hit. That's the named character guy. The Lion is now an aura of reroll 1s to hit on my weapon skill 2 army. You just don't need Oath in this.
It's the same for Black Templars. A lot of their stuff
there's a lot. And in Black Templars, that makes sense. Space Wolves also have like a decent amount of stratagems that reroll hits. Like, it wouldn't be that hard to just say, no, you don't have Oath anymore.
And then Blood Angels have Angelic Inheritors.
And also Blood Angels have Death Company.
That's true.
Like, all of these chapters, except for Darth Watch, they could just...
Yeah.
Oh, and they don't have a printed codex supplement yet, and maybe they will. But everyone who has a printed codex supplement, a physical book you could buy, should not have Oath. Also, they should lose access to the codex attachments.
I would agree with that.
I love Dark Angel Gladius. I'm sorry, the way you fix Dark Angels, Dark Angels cannot keep up with Codex Space Marines for the same reason that Codex Space Marines couldn't keep up with Dark Angels. And they just flipped the problem, right? They just put the shoe on the other foot, and now it's uncomfortable and your toes are jammed.
Yeah. How are you going to compete with Ultramarines? They have all this extra stuff.
12 months ago, how could you compete with Dark Angels? They are so much better than Ultramarines. And now we just, again, left shoe on the right foot now, and now I'm uncomfortable.
I mean, we're starting to see this with Black Templars. I mean, Jack just wants to play the Gladius because it's such a good detachment.
Yeah.
I think Gladius, Stormlance are such good generalist detachments that they push out all the other options, and they paper over cracks in an army.
Yeah.
That should have been addressed a lot earlier.
Honestly, I think you could just go ahead and I think you give Dark Angels a better rule than Oath, and you remove the Codex attachments at the same time. That's it. Like, and Dark Angels are forced into taking worse detachments, and you replace Oath with something awesome. Like, I'm not prepared for this at the moment. I would honestly say that you could either have like for Dark Angels specifically, I think you could do like a pick 2 or pick 3 buffs, where in your command phase you have 3 buffs that you give instead of 1 Oath. You have 3 that you give, which is give one like unit fallback, advance to charge, fallback, shoot and charge. You give 1 unit advance, shoot and charge, and you give 1 unit reroll hits. Just like 3 units each get a buff. They have to be different units. Mm-hmm. And everyone has their own specialization, or you give them like a doctrine equivalent, like a combat doctrine equivalent, where you pick an ability that's like themed around the wing, right? Either your army gets advance and charge, and you get to pick this every turn, or your army gets, fallback and charge is lazy because I'm just rewriting the Space Marine doctrines, but something better than Oath, because Dark Angels don't actually need Oath that much. And then you take away the Codex detachments.
Yeah, I would love to see something like that to kind of reshape what's going on with Marines.
Gladius strangles.
It really does.
And they have to balance around it.
Death Guard, it says none here.
Oh,
it
my
won't.
God.
So Death Guard have some insane rules. They have rerolls all over the place. They have crit hits on a variety of things. They have just a wide variety of extremely good rules. I personally think that it's better to keep Death Guard having good rules and just eat the points up. I think a lot of their stuff is just too cheap across the board, and I'd rather them do stuff and be interesting and have roles in the army, which they do, and just be more expensive. They're just not fit in line with the game right now with how cheap they are. I mean, how do you look at a bloat drone and be like 100 points? How?
Yeah.
What AI wrote that? Because I just cannot believe it. You cannot convince me a human being put 100 points on that.
I'm of 2 minds here. 1, the bloat drone is a 140 point data sheet. 2, I do wonder, what if we took all of those small vehicles and we made them 7 wounds?
Just changes their wounds characteristic? Made them easier
I think that their output is still too good. But like, if I got to write it, I would say that a bloat
still an awkward
drone,
profile. They got a 5 up invuln. You could be -1 to hit.
I think the bloat drone should be damage 2, not 3. 7 wounds, same points cost. The combat or gun drone, no changes, 7 wounds, same points cost. The Myphitic Blight Hauler, it's on a bigger base, so you know what? I'll be nice. 8 wounds. And it loses the +1 to wound. Keeps +1 to hit, loses +1 to wound. Because unfortunately, the Myphitic Blight Hauler, you can't really change the weapons because it's a multi-melta and a
missile launcher.
Like those are what they are. So I would say 8 wounds on that, 7 on the other 2. None of them go up in points. The damage 3 gun just goes to damage 2. And then 7 wounds, 8 wounds. And then you lose +1 to wound on the Myphitic Blight Hauler. I think that is actually kind of reasonable. None of them go up in cost.
I feel like that's the least likely outcome.
I agree.
Adjust the data sheets themselves.
I agree. This is not. I am wish listing here. Josh, please, Josh, nerf them.
Yeah, I think it's more likely that
tiny.
they just. Yeah, it is. It's a tiny little thing.
It's smaller than a Scout Sentinel. Make it a Scout Sentinel. It's so itty bitty. They're not going to do that, but I wish they would.
Yeah, I think just a handful of their data sheets are just too cheap, and you don't have to touch everything.
If we're just doing points, how much do you put the Myphitic at?
I think you go up. It's 100.
The Myphitic, I think the Myphitic is 90.
Oh yeah, the Myphitic is 90.
Myphitic is 90.
Is 90.
It's insane.
I think you go 20 on the Myphics. You do 30 on the gun blow drone. Yeah, and then you do 15 on the flamer one.
I think it's fine.
Death Shrouds go up 25 points.
Yeah.
They should be more expensive than Wolfguard Terminators.
Wolfguard Terminators are actually really good.
They are really good, but they should be both right next to each other. If Wolfguard Terminators are 170, they should be at least 175.
Yeah.
6-inch Deep Strike is ludicrously good.
I honestly think you Death Shrouds only, you just change to 7-inch Deep Strike. It's Nurgle's number. No points changes, 7-inch Deep Strike.
They're still too cheap for 4-wound Terminator body.
They are pretty cheap.
140 was ludicrous. I don't know.
I guess the way that I see it is that I'm okay with Death Guard having good Terminators because I think it's really cool.
Yeah, they should.
Death Shrouds are honestly awesome models. I don't. Again, I'm a hater for every god that's not Slaanesh. Death Shroud Terminators are super cool. I would.
They have to be more expensive than Grey Knight Terminators, John. I will stand on that. Okay,
that's fair. That's fine.
Most Terminators are around the 180 point.
Okay, what are they? They're like 140.
They're 140, John. I think
that's rough. Yeah. Yeah.
Like what?
No, fair enough. Right.
They're the best elite Terminator in the game.
7-inch Deep Strike, 160. That's my offer. Nurgle's number.
Yeah, like I don't think we need to punt Death Guard, out of here because they have a lot of very good data sheets.
PBC's up 100 points. Sorry, what was that?
I would fix that with Mortarian's Hammer specifically, and just change how Afflicted how that detachment rule works.
Yeah,
just don't let you use something with the indirect platform,
or don't let you take Plague Burst Crawlers on detachment.
something about it.
Right, but maybe this is why I'm not a playtester, actually.
But I think points is the direction for Death Guard. And you can't really pin, like, there are rules that are very, very good.
Yeah.
But usually they require a lot of CP stacking and being in the right position. I just think they should have less stuff.
Agreed. I feel like I'm panicking right now because we're on the D section, but then I remember that like GW really front loads the letters and we're actually halfway done.
Death Watch. Sorry. It's an army that just isn't really
loved at all.
Basically, the community saved it from getting legends, basically, right?
That's what it feels like.
It feels like that?
The Facebook comments were actually enough that they re-released a PDF.
They took away the rules, and you were like, here's Imperial Agents, you have your stuff. And everybody was like, I don't want that, I don't want it. And
they just need a codex. They
need a real supplement that does things, because their detachment of Imperial Agents is not great. And
yeah.
You can play them as Space Marines, but there's so many Space Marine options that you just play them instead. They don't have a lot of diversity in data sheets. They don't have a lot of diversity in rules. Their one detachment is good, but it has one playstyle, and that's just it. That's all you play.
Yeah, and it takes away the normal flexibility that Marines have. And then you're still paying Marine cost for the data sheets to not be flexible, and then you die.
The one silver lining here is they were previewed as getting a kill team.
Yes, very excited for that.
With new models. So that could be the timing where Games Workshop decides to go back in and do a little bit extra love for Death Watch.
Really hope so.
And hopefully that's the case, because Death Watch are super cool. Drukhari, they're waiting for a codex. I don't think they'll change whatsoever. until that happens.
I'll also acknowledge, I've talked a little bit of smack about Drukhari on this here channel. Drukhari are better than I thought. I'll say
Cody Juru, Skari out there.
Yeah, there's a couple players out there making it work.
Yep, plenty of people in different formats. A couple WTC teams are taking them. So I think Drukhari are in the change to Reaper's Wager was excellent. That was a really, really good change in the last one.
Agreed.
Allowing the rule to just always do something. And I think that's a lot of detachments, they should have that same mentality is baseline, the detachments should do something always that's good. And then you can look at that second rule, and that could be more situational, in different circumstances. But a detachment should always do something. Emperor's Children. We talked about potentially a new detachment. I think that would help them a lot.
I think that would help a lot. Man, all right, so Emperor's Children's hard.
John's taking them to WTC.
I'm full bias here. I am taking them to WTC. I think they are very good. I'm also, if you look at the WTC, there's 42 teams there. There are 6 Emperor's Children players at the event, which is relatively low, especially for a new army. Also, Emperor's Children, I'm the only Tier 1 player in the Tier 1 nation. So that's of the top 10 teams by aggregate results of the last 3 years. Only of those, what is that? That's 80 players. There's 1 Emperor's Children in that, which is me. And the start of this season, I think Jack and Michael rated Emperor's Children as the best army in the game. I disagreed with him. However, this was before Knights came out. Afterwards, surely no one thinks that. I disagreed with them, but the win rates for Emperor's Children are not good. I think that their season-to-date win rate is like 46. Last weekend, they hit 40% win rate. It's been dire out there. Emperor's Children have a hard-fought game into Death Guard Knights and Chaos Knights. Without tipping my hand too much, I actually do not believe that those are unwinnable games, and I have been practicing them. However, it's uphill, and it does not really let the Emperor's Children player mess around.
Yes.
If the Emperor's Children player makes a noticeable mistake against any of the big 3 armies, you then die immediately. I'll tell you that much. So, do they need buffs? I think they're really good, but Emperor's Children are also very hard to play.
And when you say they're really good, John is mentioning a very specific set of data sheets.
Yeah.
6 data sheets? Is it 7?
Is it 5?
It's okay. A small, narrow sliver.
I kind of lump the Infractor Exultant into one.
Fair enough.
Infractor Exultant package, Winged Demon Prince, Noise Marines,
Rhino,
Mauler Fiends, Rhino, Tormentor,
Lucius
the Eternal. Okay, 7 data sheets. You got me. Cacophonist counts as Noise Marines. Yeah, I would love more than anything to see Emperor's Children get a kill team or 2. Honestly, if we got a kill team next month and next year, I'd be super happy. I think that Emperor's Children need they don't need a new codex for rules. They need 3 new data sheets. I need the Forge Fiend. I need a cultist equivalent or cultists until we get a cultist equivalent. The same way that all the other legions had cultists.
One change I would consider here is I think they were too restrictive on how the demons can be used in only their detachment. Yeah. I think you should be able to take 1 of each data sheet, maybe excluding the characters or at least the greater demons. Yeah. But in any of the detachments, you can take 1. So you could always have a demonette unit, for instance. You could always have a bloodletter unit in your backfield, whatever, plate bearers.
I think that would actually be a good change for all the God Legions.
Yeah.
And because they're not going to have any rules. But if I could take 2 Demonette squads, that would actually be helpful.
You get 10 bodies.
Yeah, cool. And if I'm playing Carnival, the Demonettes get more rules. Mm-hmm. And if not, it is just a Demonette with no buffs at all.
That would be a short-term solution to creating models, which is obviously a huge process for Games Workshop.
Obviously, I don't expect it
in the short term. I think that would be perfectly fine.
I agree completely. I would love to see the Forge Fiend given to Emperor's Children. That can be done. There is literally no reason that cannot be done. They can make a data sheet.
As long as it doesn't shoot as hard as the World Eaters one, I'm fine with it.
And I'm okay with that too. It can be one of the stupid Forge Fiends that gives -1 to hit. It's totally fine. Maybe it causes a battle shock test when it shoots. If we're feeling really spicy. It's totally fine. Just like the Forge Fiend data sheet, 0 rerolls, 150 points, 140 points if I'm being realistic, but I'll take 150.
It's a different platform.
Just to have it. Just to give me a gun. But it's fine. I don't even think I would take that. It would just be nice for people. But here's what I do want for Emperor's Children. My current 2K list does not really need to change, in my opinion. If the meta changes around it, it could go back to being a very, very strong singles army. I think that Emperor's Children need the Foot Demon Prince to go way down. You look at the Foot Demon Prince for every other God Legion right now,
and it's the better version.
It's usually It's usually that. This thing costs 195. It should be like 170. He's a lone up who's an aura of +1 AP on the charge.
He's 5 points cheaper than the Nurgle one, which is T12 without the enhancement, which is like T12 and
T12 and gives a free strat.
Yeah.
And is +1 attack and lethal hits in combat. Just like, I'm sorry. Just like, he should not be 195. Flawless Blades, you know what? 4 attacks. You can make him cheaper.
3 attacks is offensive.
3 attacks
for
is
your
offensive.
elite infantry unit.
Yeah. Like,
and then Fulgrim comes down.
No, Fulgrim gets rewritten. You got me on for the Emperor's Children part. I'm ranting.
If Call gets rewritten, we can get Fulgrim rewritten.
You know, Call can get rewritten too.
Done.
No problems. Deal.
All right. That's how we negotiate
GW.
here at Games Workshop.
Come on. All right. If I get to rewrite Fulgrim, I'm going top to bottom. Mind if I do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Fulgrim has 3 pick 3 abilities. 2 of them gone. He loses the -1 to hit. He loses fights first. In exchange, you know what he gains on his data sheet? Fights first and stealth. He's Fulgrim. He can fights first. He is the avatar of Slaanesh. He can just fights first all the time. The Lion gets fights first all the time. Fulgrim can do it all the time. Fulgrim deserves a new base. He's not going to get it because that's not how this is. We're screwed. Fulgrim is not going to be good. I'm going to give you a bunch of changes and Fulgrim's still not going to be good, but I'm going to try. So he replaces those 2 pick-me abilities with 2 options. 1, every time Fulgrim kills a model, he heals a wound to a max of 6 per phase. I don't care if that means he heals 12 wounds in a turn. It's fine. It will be okay. He can't move. Like, he's a 12-inch gun. If he kills 6 people with a 6-shot gun, good. He heals 6 wounds. Combat, good. Every time he kills a model, he heals a wound. Every time he kills a character, heals D3 wounds. That's one of the pick 3 options. We'll keep the no fallback one. I'm never going to pick it, but screw it. It's fun. Third is that Fulgrim can move through terrain. And he chooses every command phase. He does not choose one per command phase. Like, he doesn't choose my command phase and it lasts for the battle round. Every command phase he chooses one of these.
Every player's, you mean?
Every player's command phase he chooses one of these 3 things. That's what he does.
I mean, I would love to see him on the table because he's so damn cool. So
he would not make the table if we did that. I wouldn't take him. But it would be better. It'd be better than what he is right now.
Right. Large snake man.
All right, I could keep going on Emperor's Children, but we shouldn't.
GSC, so Gene Circle.
This is hard.
I personally think that Host of Ascension has continued to be too strong. They got points increases a while back. They've messed around with resurgence points and how it works. They've made some of the cheap things extremely cheap. Like Jackals are just, you run 15 in every list. Now you get the extra mortals from them, you bring them back. I personally think that crit 5s should not exist on those units. And if we're going to let it exist, it has to be more CP. I don't understand how that's a 1 CP strat. Doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. It could force them to at least run the Nexos to try and reduce that. But I think overall the army does too much damage, and the stratagem to go back into reserve after being shot also should be 2 CP. I think just those 2 changes make both those strats 2 CP.
I think you could do one of the 2. I don't even think you need to do both.
I think both.
To me, again, one of the reasons why Gene Stealer Cult is good right now is because I believe that Gene Stealer Cult have real and legitimate play into the big dogs, and that has inflated them from where they are because all of the GSC counters get shellacked by the Night Armies, and they are allowed to play against it.
And are very good into it.
And are even good into it. But I don't think you need to nerf
Tucker is not in my head. If Jack didn't beat me by 1 point thanks to challenger cards, I would have been beating Tucker the next round. You can count on that.
I've never played Tucker. I don't know if I would have beaten him, but I'd be willing to give it a shot. But of course, Tucker was recently talking about Gene Stealer.
I like Tucker, by the way.
On the latest Art of War podcast, and also was on the team when we won ATC.
Yep, he was on the ATC team playing GSC. You can watch him on stream.
There you go. I would not go. I would not go hard on GSC though. I think one
that's
stratagem
the only
up.
Thing.
Yeah. I would even be willing to drop the points of a few of the units that are not currently making the cut, like Aberrants.
Yeah, I could definitely see that because they went up when Biosanctic was at its peak, and Biosanctic had some rules nerfs? Question mark, question mark?
Yeah.
Where is it? I guess not.
Well, I mean, the points changes for Aberrants would be in the MFM. But,
No, I'm saying I thought they had some rules changes, which they don't have here. So, yeah, I'm fine with Aberrants going down a bit.
yeah,
That seems
it's
perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, they're cute. I like them. How do we know enough about new Grey Knights to advocate for changes? Or do we give them 3 months and
They're not going to change. It's going to take some amount of time to figure out the book and figure
what
out
needs to be
detaching.
changed? That's fair.
Also, the meta will just change naturally, and
Yeah,
I think
we need
that'll
to-
open up a lot more.
That's
The
good.
meta goes away from being high durability stat check. It opens up so many more options in every
Yeah.
army.
So same thing as Templars. I don't know if you I don't know if you like need to change them or not. I have no idea if Templars are good or bad right now. Actually,
I
genuinely
think you
have no
let
idea.
them play for a couple months, and then the next data slate you can look at the army.
Sounds good.
Imperial Knights, we already mentioned. Canis yeeted up all the same changes as Chaos Knights. You shouldn't be able to take 4+ big knights.
There's a
easily.
codex for Imperial Knights coming soon. Soon. Around the corner.
in the following 3 years.
Soon. I love that this codex got previewed at Last Nova. Anyways, yeah, you just plus 30 points on everyone, and then the Atropos can go 40 or 50,
Canis.
and then Canis can go up 70.
Yeah, and their armigers are fine. It is literally...
You know what? Actually, I would accept Canis only going up 40 or 50 if they took his free strat ability to once per battle round.
That's also fair.
I would accept that.
Which would be a more consistent game-wide thing.
Yes,
I think he's the last
He's
model.
the last one. He is the last one. So, get rid of that.
Imperial Agents.
You have to completely rewrite Agents.
It is, unfortunately, a book that has not received, realistically, any love whatsoever.
Yeah.
And has just sat there unchanged, and I don't expect it to change. What I would do is, frankly, give them another generalist detachment.
I wouldn't even do that.
No?
I would give them an army rule, because right now their army rule is
Oh,
that
yeah,
they
yeah.
can be allied.
For sure, yeah.
Just like give them an army rule.
Give them another, pick 3 things, and you can pick it based on, which order you're trying to focus on as well.
You know what would actually be cool? If at the start of the battle, you get to pick between 3 rules. Lethal hits against chaos models, sustained hits against models that do not have Imperium or Xenos, and then something else against Imperium armies. I think that'd actually be kind of cool.
Yeah. Anything that did something.
Anything that does something.
But really, the army lacks anti-tank, so you have to ally in knights,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just it's bodies that don't do it as well as some of the best body armies like GSC.
Yep.
So they just don't have a realistic design space, unfortunately. It's such a narrow set of data sheets that realistically you can make those better and more interesting, and they have done that for Horde armies, which is effectively how agents play. But it really, they just need better rules. They just don't have very good foundation of rules.
Mm-hmm.
Leagues of Votann, they will be getting a codex eventually, and whenever that happens, their rules will change.
Yep.
Right now, they're they're just in a great spot.
Yeah. No problems with Votann right now. I don't think they need nerfs or
A lot of Votann at WTC.
Yeah.
Orcs.
Boy, talk about the pendulum.
They're
I don't want
up and
orcs
down,
to
baby.
be too good. They are not currently too good. I think the pendulum swung too far last time. So I think what you can do with orcs is I think you can take the shock attack on mech, not let him join tank bustas, and then knock the points back down on both of those units. Then I think there's a couple more things you could probably buff 1 or 2 orcs attachments. Again, honestly. I don't think we need a new one though. Dear God. I think there's a couple more units in here that could just get a little bit cheaper. Not like a lot cheaper. Just orcs are very much like an on-the-line army. They're either too cheap or too expensive, and it seems to happen all at once. And I think we can work them. They're now too expensive, and I think we can work them back a little bit. Orcs are okay. Like, you kind of have one build that just can't play against Knights or Death Guard. Right? Mono build faction that can't play against the top armies of the game is like, it's not bad. But,
they have a lot of data sheets that are basically never seen, period. Those just need to go down. I don't know why they're never focused on, but there's a lot of vehicles and stuff that never are seen. The infantry units generally are quite good, but the vehicles still need help. I think they thought Cult of Speed change was going to dramatically help it. It just hasn't.
Yep.
All of that stuff is just overcosted.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you could just make a couple things so it's slightly cheaper. Ooh, how are we feeling about Necrons, by the way? I think we skipped them.
Oh, yeah. I'm going. So I think Necrons are in a great spot overall, frankly. They are suffering from Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights, etc., being very good. I think they have a lack of diverse play styles. I think Hypercrypt was hit too hard, personally, but that's okay because it was the least interesting play style for me. They really are between Star Shatter and taking the Awakened Dynasty. Canoptic Horde has seen some amount of play because their Canoptic stuff went down. I think they're one of the older codexes that could use a combat detachment. Like, the Destroyer detachment is garbage and terrible, and they tried to help it. I think just giving them a more interesting, like Triarch Praetorians do, like, nothing.
Yeah.
You know, give them a different style. They have a lot of shooting-oriented styles, I think, or durability-oriented ones.
I'd be down for the Destroyer detachment to get a complete rewrite, and then, like, I don't think Necrons need a significant points nerf. If I got to choose, I would undo the Wraith buff.
For like me, it just didn't matter. Yeah. Like, my list did not need to get an extra 30 points. It just doesn't matter. I think the Technomancer should have gone down more, and the Wraith should have stayed the same. Because the Techno can go in Warriors, and he's just not as competitive, being that expensive. Yeah,
that's fair. But yeah, I don't think Necrons need like many nerfs. They're not taking over the meta. They're solid. They're good. They're in a good spot. I agree. Diversity-wise, I would love to see the Destroyer detachment. I would love to see a new archetype of army, and I think combat's the right way to go. So I'd love to see the Destroyer detachment just get like noticeable buffs.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Because it just doesn't do anything. It is crazy.
I was about to say,
it made the top 10 list. It was hard. It's horrible.
I could not tell you a single rule there.
The one good rule is no fallback on a 3-up.
Oh, that is cool. That's actually very good.
That's the only one.
Else. Okay, fair enough. That alone does not a detachment make.
Yes. All right. We've got Space Marines as a whole. We already talked about some of the specialist detachments.
Yeah.
We know that some new characters will be coming out in the future. What do you think needs to be done for Space Marines?
So Space Marines have a real difficult to balance problem.
Because they're very low win rate.
Their win rate is they're like 41.
Yeah.
Their win rate is atrocious. The problem is that like I think Space Marines are actually pretty good.
Ultramarines in particular.
Yeah. Sorry, I think Ultramarines are very good. Let's say what it is. Like, I think I could take Ultramarines and compete at a super major.
Yeah.
Zero questions asked. Like, honestly, if WCW were tomorrow.
The World Championships.
Yep. I think I would play Space Marines.
Probably.
I think I'd just play Ultramarines.
One of the most consistent armies in the game.
Yep.
Incredible
I
power.
do very well with it. I think it pairs perfectly fine with meta. I think it is slightly better slight singles edge on EC right now, and those would be the two that I'd play. So I'd probably just play Ultimate Dromines. Being real, like, that army's great. But the win rate's so bad because the army is very like, I messed up one, I lost one unit, dead. I think you could give Space Marines some points help. I think Space Marines would really benefit from one extra Incursor unit or one extra Intercessor unit in most Space Marine lists. But I also acknowledge that like when Ultramarines are played properly, it feels oppressive. And so it feels strange to give them just like points buffs, but also the army's doing so poorly that it kind of has to. I think that you get a lot more room if you do the supplement change that I mentioned, where you take away these detachments from Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Templars. And I think that gives you more room to play with Space Marines. I would love... I mean, we kind of have to see what these new characters do, but ignoring the new characters because you don't know what any of them do yet, I think you can just do some small points changes. I don't think you need to make... Like, there's a lot of bad Space Marine detachments. That's fine. They don't need new ones. You could go buff the old detachments, but like, meh. Like, it's not going to be better than Gladius.
I agree with the points decreases, but I think Ultramarines have to be excluded from the extra Oath buff, personally.
The +1 wound?
I think they're going to always just be too dominant.
I acknowledge that. The problem is that the second you do that, you just remove Ultramarines from the game. If Ultramarines are not +1 to wound, Ultramarines don't exist.
You don't think Gilman and Calgar
Nope.
by themselves?
Nope. Not even close.
Well, I don't. They've messed up the Marine design.
They have.
I don't know how to fix
complete
this.
Right. But like, remember, Guilliman and Calgar existed with their current rules.
I would switch their rules back to what they were.
No, they've never changed. Guilliman's
No,
rules.
you can't have the CP. And
oh,
whatnot.
right. Sure. But like Guilliman with double CP bonus, he used to exist before +1 wound. Calgar used to give you a CP. Calgar used to be cheaper. Those two things existed before +1 wound, and you just strictly never saw it because it was not good.
I mean, you were playing Ultramarines Vanguard.
Yeah, and I didn't take Guilliman. But that was because of Calgar,
Yeah.
which it was awesome. And that list also has gone up over 300 points. Like,
And also, you can't deep strike this.
and also, I can't teleport the Centurions anymore. And that was a very specific gimmick.
Yeah. Frankly, what
They've messed up the Marine design a lot.
Yeah. It's basically there's one way to play it pretty much always that's just superior to the others, and I don't know how to fix that.
You just have to separate them all so that you can balance them independently.
Yeah,
because
there should be an Ultramarines detachment. Salamander's detachment. That's
I would love to see each chapter have one detachment that's unique to them,
and they get certain buffs for units in there.
And I still think you keep the core ones, just you deny them to Dark Angels, right? Like
the Gladius and Stormlance are too good. They're just way better than everything else.
Yeah.
It's like insanely. They're
I
two of
agree.
the best detachments in the game. You have no diversity because you wrote two amazing detachments.
I agree. But then the army's not good enough that you can nerf Gladius. If you nerf Gladius, Space Marines are just like...
No. I think they needed to put more emphasis on the data sheets themselves rather than on the detachments.
Yeah.
Because the detachments are so accessible.
Yeah. But you would have to thoroughly rewrite Space Marines in the way that it would be easier to release a second codex. Which, to be fair, we've seen late edition Space Marine codexes. I genuinely would not be mad if we got a new one. And I think it would be beneficial, honestly.
Yeah.
And now that because I believe I guess Death Watch maybe, but if every Space Marine supplement that they intend to write is now out, I think now is a good time for a Space Marine codex at the end of the edition.
That's what always happens.
It has happened in the past. I would not be mad about it. It just has to be after Drukhari and Votan and Knights probably.
Better be.
Yeah, like I could go through every single Space Marine unit and describe the buffs that it needs, but I don't think we need to.
Space Wolves, they're a brand new army.
I think they're quite good.
They are quite good. A lot of people are taking them out to WTC.
Yeah,
a
very
lot of
popular
countries.
army.
So I think the thing that stands out the most to me is that they have an incredibly good set of combat units. They have a lot of diversity in those, but they have a very, very cheap 4-up invuln units.
Yeah.
More so than most armies. And they also have some of the best named characters in Space Marines as well. I think ultimately that their strength is still going to mostly be elevated from the Stormlance or the Gladius detachments once again. And I don't know if you do anything right now because we haven't really seen them in singles yet. So you probably just let them exist for another couple months and see where they lie.
I'll throw Space Wolf players a bone here. They've been good boys. The Wolfguard Terminator datasheet gains 1 line. If a character could attach to Space Marine Terminators, it can join this unit. Done.
Can only the Space Wolf characters can join them?
Correct. Yeah. There is not an
so you can't take a generic captain.
Yeah, there is not an unnamed leader for the units. Now, I will say I am of the opinion that Space Wolf Terminator Squad with the Chaplain would be too good. However, I am willing to let you have it, Space Wolf players. Yeah. I think that the Space Wolf Terminator datasheet is actually the best Terminator in the Imperium right now.
Yeah, for sure it is.
And so I don't want to give it a buff.
Unfortunately, as a Grey Knight player.
Unfortunately, as an Archangel player. I don't want to give them a buff from the sense that I don't think that they need it, but I acknowledge it is stupid that they have a Terminator detachment with enhancements for Terminators that they cannot take on the Space Wolf Terminators. And I acknowledge that is so dumb it should be fixed for non-balance reasons. Let me put it that way. I don't think Space Wolves need any buffs. I actually expect in 3 months they're going to need nerfs.
Probably.
But right now, I'll let it ride.
Yeah. The preemptive
we don't have any data, and preemptive nerfs usually miss.
Yeah. They would be like 10 points on Wolfguard Terminators, 10 points on most of their like good stuff, and just have it increase like 80 points or so. But it's hard to say exactly. Tau, The rule change was extremely nice, especially when they re-updated it so that you didn't have to do it at the start of shooting, so you can guide into things that disembark from a transport that you blow up. So I think the Tau army is much easier to play from a mechanics standpoint than it was previously.
That was a good change.
I think it doesn't help Tau's ultimate problems, which is that Tau is not really designed for the terrain density that the game has shifted towards. And Tau doesn't really attack staging points well, and it doesn't hold primary very well. It doesn't have things like, high OC durable units that can hold down objectives. It doesn't have that many heroic intervention threats to protect primary.
You need Bulgrin.
Something like that, and that's what there is a unit that is supposed to be this, and that is the new Rampagers, the Krutox Rampagers, and they are actually quite good, and they are reasonably priced. Their biggest problem is their lack of mobility. They only move 7 inches, and they're mounted and not infantry. And I think if they just changed the keywords and the mobility on that unit, maybe tuned it up just a little bit more, or some of the other Kroot units, that Tau would actually be in a very good place. And you can see it. The Kroot detachment actually is the best consistent army for Tau.
We have to see more Kroot on the table.
In terms of performing in certain events.
So let me give you a pitch then. So this is you know how like units always have one keyword? In Thousand Suns, they give some of the disc characters infantry and mounted at the same time. What if you were mounted and beasts? Both keywords.
That'd be fantastic.
And I don't think I want to see Rampagers cheaper, but I think
they're 85 points for 3. That's perfectly reasonable.
If they moved 8 or 9 and they gained the beast keyword, that would be really cool.
I think that would be a huge change for Tau overall.
Yeah. And
would really help some of the problems that exist.
I will say, from a design perspective, what I would love most for Tau is a what's the tough enforcer? Is the tough commander?
The enforcer commander.
I would love to see a new kit for enforcer crisis suits, a whole unit of enforcer crisis suits that everyone has a shield, like dome, like an energy shield, and honestly, they've taken the Melton, the fusion torch, the fusion cutter thing that you used to have as an enhancement, and they have rolled it out for mass production because they have innovated. And you get a unit that is 1 fusion blaster and a shield, and the fusion blaster is a fusion blaster, and it has a weapon skill 4 combat thing.
It would be a crisis honor guard.
Yeah,
and they would have weapon options like that, like fusion blades to take.
Honestly, unit is 2 to 4. It's a crisis suit with a 4-up invuln and a combat weapon that is still a multi-melta. It is 1 fusion gun, and in combat you are 3 attacks of a fusion gun. And your weapon skill 3, because you know what? We trained this fish to hold a sword. And I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Gives you a second, and also 2-up save. You know what? You can have 4, you know what? It's normally 4 wounds. 2-up, 4-up.
I think overall, Tau and Guard are kind of similar in this respect, where the charge phase is such a crucial part of playing the game well because it's effectively a second movement phase. It gets you onto objectives. It ties up opponents' units. It's so key to how you play and win games. And when you don't necessarily participate that well, like you can charge 10 breachers or something to try and take away an objective. If they have a heroic threat, which is basically most of the game, if they have a fight first unit, you just have problems interacting with your opponent's protected objectives. I think opening up more options for defending and attacking objectives is what Tau needs, not necessarily by guns. And same thing for Guard. I think having Bulgrin, having Rough Riders, having these type of units is crucial for the armies that are mostly shooting elements. And that's just not that design space. If we're going to keep the terrain density, which I think is better for the game overall, playing out a 5-turn game, you just need these resources, and that's where Games Workshop should go.
I would love to see a 2-man Crisis Honor Guard unit. Something cool that is capable of combat, and then also a Rampager buff so that you have 2 units. You cannot have 1 combat unit. Yeah. Because it'll just you either take 18 Rampagers or you don't. So I think you need 2.
Thousand Suns. They are a new book. Grand Coven, their updated index detachment, has been the dominant way to play them. They have a lot of very good character units, and they're a very good army. They have extremely strong rules. Their army rule is incredible. Their stratagems in Grand Coven are incredible.
Yeah.
What would you do here, John? I think they're too good, but not egregiously so.
Not egregiously so. I don't think Thousand Suns need any rules changes. I will never admit this while Michael is in hearing distance, but I was probably a little bit wrong on my initial read on T-Suns. They're not as broken as I thought. I honestly think that you could go relatively small in the point changes here. The bow goats are currently 50-80.
Yeah.
Very simple. 50-100. The 3-man can stay the same cost, and it should not change on the 6-mans. Just scale it perfectly. Mutaliths, I think, are 160.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can make them 170. That's it.
Same as Maliceptor.
We haven't gotten to the turn section yet. Now let's calm down. Genuinely, that's all I would do. Like,
I personally think the basic sorcerer needs to go up.
yeah.
It's a pretty ridiculous stat line.
It's pretty
roll
good.
For 75 points.
It's pretty good.
I think 10 points on
pretty
him
good.
would be perfectly reasonable.
It would be, but like, what I think is that like the current good T-Sun lists, I don't think that they need to go up more than 100 points. I honestly think they can go up less than 100 points.
I think 50 to 60 points would be perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. And you know what? Someone in the chat mentioned it, and so I'll agree. I do think that I would be fine with the spear goats being infantry.
Yeah, in addition to mounted.
In addition to mounted, yeah. I wouldn't change the points and the infantry part at the same time, but I would start with infantry.
Tyranids.
My beloved. This is hard.
They have a really
The
good
new detachment is so good.
Subterranean
But it's
Assault.
Subterranean Assault, if you just look at the detachment in a vacuum, ignoring the fact that you can only put Tyranid data sheets in it, it is one of the best detachments in the game. Like, the rules that are on it, people were worried when it came out that Tyranids were going to be the best army in the game, broken. Then Knights came out 2 weeks later, and so we all stopped worrying about that. But
It's a very good detachment.
like, the rules of the detachment are insane.
It made it to the finals of the Tacoma Open.
But if you also look at how Tyranids have performed as a whole, not a ton of event wins. Win rate, like 46. It's like I think Tyranids as a whole are hovering just on the wrong side of 50. Which, it's crazy to me that you can add Subterranean Assault to an army and have it not go above 50% win rate. That's insane. But here I am acknowledging that that's true.
It doesn't surprise me because I think they struggle into all three of the top.
Yeah, they really do. I think Tyranids get no changes, and we nerf the top stuff, and Tyranids are much happier for that.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
Yeah. It's a crazy fun detachment. Subterranean Assault is awesome. Hive Guard are one of the best units in the Codex now. But the real talk is that I don't think you need... Like, Tyranids are allowed to have problems, and they do. But right now, their problems are in consistency. And Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights and Death Guard all punish you extremely harshly. Extremely harshly for swinging and missing.
If you swing and miss against them, you're just dead.
You're just dead.
That's it.
So I think that the top end really punishes Tyranids right now, and that's unfortunate. But I do believe that that's the case.
World Leaders, and this will be the last faction here. So personally, I think their internal balance is a bit off. I already mentioned one of the changes I like for the Chaos Cult books, which is that they can access one of each of the demon units in any of the detachments. But really for World Leaders, I think 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound need to go down 20,
They are way
20
overcosted.
points for 3, 25 points, something like that. They need to come back down. And then I would look at, same thing for Lord of Skulls and whatnot. I think...
No, not Lord of Skulls.
No?
No.
Okay. It shouldn't go down?
No.
Okay, fine.
It's overcosted, but it shouldn't go down.
All right, fine.
I don't want that to be the met. Like, I'm sorry, but like...
I'm talking a little bit. We don't need to drop it 70 points. We don't need to be crazy.
Okay.
Like 10 points, 15 points, whatever. But the real changes here is the Forge Fiend. I personally think that it's better to keep it relatively cheap so that they have a shooting unit if they want it, and take away the full rerolls. I think it reroll ones. Make it reroll ones to hit.
Yep.
If the opponent's within 18 inches, you still get the rapid fire, but you don't get full rerolls. Full rerolls just doesn't belong. It needs to go to 100, like 90 points if it stays like that.
What would also be better is if they are not going to do that, which I do believe that would be a good idea, at a minimum, I think they have to take it off of the Overwatch. Overwatching with reroll hits is not a good idea.
Especially with that volume. It's
No,
crazy.
it's too much. It's too much. So yeah, I tone down the Forge Fiend. It does not have to go up in cost. Honestly, it could even go down 10 points and go to reroll ones to hit, and I'd be okay with that. But I don't think...
I think it's better to be a tool that they can use instead of a really expensive thing that's hard to utilize.
Right. Red Drum, I apologize. You're correct. Lord of Skulls can go to 500 exactly. My bad. I apologize.
Karn at 85 points is one of the absolute craziest characters in the game.
Yeah.
I think he needs to go up to around like 110-ish. He needs to be more expensive than most Marine characters. He just is that good.
I mean, he is cheaper than Lord Marshal Dryer.
He's cheaper than most characters.
Dryer might have actually gone down a little bit.
It's insane how cheap he is. And then I would look at a couple of their detachments probably need a little bit of help.
Yeah, there's 2 detachments that have seen real play.
Berserker Warband is great, and then the Khorne Demonkin one you have seen.
It's quite good.
But the other ones, they're lacking something. I think the changes to 8-bound and Exalted will help a lot, make that a little more interesting. But probably look at some of those detachments. I don't know what the specific changes, but
yeah. I think the Forge Fiend and Spawn and Karn are the units that stand out to me as units that are a little bit too good.
Spawn could go up like 10 points, 15
just 5 or
points.
10.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. And then I think you can buff a lot of other things. I do think that 8-bound should go down significantly in both facts. Beyond that, is there anything that needs to go down?
No, I think everything else is pretty reasonable. Once again, World Eaters have a lot of... They're really good at killing anything that's below Strength 10. As soon as you have a bunch of T11... or insane durability across the board, it becomes very difficult. They also are very susceptible to -1 damage, which happens to be quite common. But overall, their units are quite good. I think the 20-man Berserkers could come down.
I
know there's a WTC
see what happens
list.
There. Right.
We'll see what happens to that. But I think that's possibly something that can. I think the 10-mans are great.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I think. World Leaders Terminators. World Leaders Terminators and Emperor's Children Terminators both need real significant changes.
For sure. The Terminators too.
Yep.
All right. The last thing I'll say is that the only thing I would change for Chapter Approved is Challenger cards. And if you haven't watched Jack's video on his Challenger Crash Out, definitely go back and watch it. It is on the YouTube channel. But I definitely think something, whether the points threshold, whether it's how many you can actually access in a particular game, whether it's whether they're in match play or not, something has to change with them.
Yep. I think that the best thing you can do is remove them from the game.
It's the cleanest.
It's the cleanest. It's the easiest. You can change the margins, but it still doesn't. You cannot fix the inherent problems, which is that points disparity middle of the game does not reflect who is winning.
Yeah. If you're down by 6 points, but you bottom a turn, you're actually winning the game.
Yeah, like I'm winning. Almost like
comfortably.
Fixed objectives are horrendous for this as well.
Yeah,
where like, oh, my opponent took tactical, they're scoring cards. I have assassinate, bring it down. I've got no secondary points after battle round 2. That's fine. Don't worry about me. I'm still gonna get 40 when I go charge your knight army on top of 3. It's like, yeah, don't worry. I'm just waiting to ingress and I'm gonna throw my entire army at you. And it's like, wow, oh man, you've drawn cards and I haven't. I've been the challenger twice. And I'm going to throw my entire army at you now. Good luck. I'm a challenger.
It's not a great mechanic.
No.
All right, let's get ahead into these super chats here. We have Jonathan Haynes, $2 Canadian super chat. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Jonathan. Thanks so much for joining us. Hives Bane sent 5 Art of War 40k gift memberships. Thank you so much to gifting those subs. And if you were awarded a sub or you joined us throughout the stream, make sure you sync your Discord to your YouTube account so you get access to our Discord community. I'm Too Random has been a member for 8 months at the gold tier. Thank you so much. Would any mechanics units break if transported units could activate abilities the way reserve units can? Seems like it would be fine and fix some jank.
Honestly,
they've started doing that. Like, for instance, the AdMech Halo Screed detachment lets you use certain things or pick the units in the transports. I think more of that could happen.
I think more of that could happen from both a consistency perspective and a balance perspective. I think it'd be fine in both cases. I would have to go review it. I'm sure there's one thing that I'm not thinking of right now that would be horrible. But in general, yeah, I think it's totally fine. You can command phase stratagems not work on units and transports is really annoying.
Zuma Kazuma, thank you so much for your $2 super chat. Zuma. CK and Death Guard get nerfs when the BT and GK points release. I doubt it. They usually like to save these for the full release, and the fact that they've waited this long suggests that we're probably going to...
The last emergency patch we got was more DACA.
Yes.
I do not like where the big 3 are at right now. I do not believe that any of them are more DACA levels. So I don't know where they draw the line. We have no information about this.
Yes. I would love to see something earlier,
yeah,
but I don't get to make the rules.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, if we had this information, we wouldn't be making the video. I'll tell you that much. And you know what that means is that every single day we don't do this video, that means we now have the balance data slate. So tomorrow, we do not go live. That means we just got it. Maybe it's in my email right now.
Wish list every day, baby.
Yeah, wish list every day. I'm joking.
Matt with a $9 super chat here. Thank you so much. Good morning, guys. Question, Richard. What do you want to see most in Leagues of Votann Codex? I am most excited for new units. It has been quite boring, honestly, playing for 2 editions in a row, mostly the same exact data sheets. And for the most part, Votann haven't received quite as many interesting changes. There's been a lot of balance around the detachment rule, but not a lot of data sheet changes, just points. I just want new ways to play the army. And 9th edition had 5 very different ways to play Votann. I just want to see those.
I'm very excited to see.
I want a combat style. I want a tricky style. I want all the cool stuff.
Very excited to see just what Votann brings to the table.
Red Drum, €10 super chat. Thank you so much. Space Marines kind of keeps breaking my brain. Very low win rate, but keeps winning huge events. It's like that since the start of 10th. Now the same for Emperor's Children, CSM, World Leaders. Do Space Marines have a higher skill cap than we think? 100% it does.
Space Marines are not an easy army to play. Ultramarine Gladius looked a little easier than the rest. But
for sure.
Broadly speaking, Space Marines are not easy to play, especially if you try to go with the more technical builds.
The more combat you enter into Space Marines, the more difficult they become, for sure.
Yep.
Ryan G, $10 super chat. Admech is like the guy from the water world that's always asking to be let out of the oil tanker, but the villains only check on him to ask how much oil is left. There's plenty of oil left in this tank, baby. Admech have gotten a lot of love, but they haven't pushed it enough. Some armies they really pushed it and tried to make a huge change. I think they've been just too cautious each time. Ricky Chow, $2 super chat. What's Sieg's go-to karaoke song? Robots don't sing karaoke.
No? You wouldn't do the robot? Mr. Roboto?
Mr. Roboto?
Come on. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Come on.
What song would I pick?
You know what? Look, he's not making you sing. He's just making
No, I'm deciding what song I would pick. Probably maybe some Bruce Springsteen, maybe some classic rock, Tom Petty.
I respect it, yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
Classic.
Good vibes.
All right, Red Drum, €5 super chat. Thank you so much. Well, sad about Space Marine chapters, John. It made me sad that when a Space Marine chapter got buffed, Gladius took over. Also love Sassy John, WTC prep stress detected.
I know what you're talking about.
And then Red Drum again with a €10 super chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Red
What
Drum.
does an army need to allow a lot of skill expression? John, good luck next week at WTC. Now that you left the good guys, embrace chaos, WTC, WCW, all the W's are yours. Good luck.
We'll see about that. Okay.
This man has embraced evil.
It's a great question though. Like, what makes an army allow skill expression? So for me, it's all about choices. It's just when my opponent does something, do I have the ability to make a choice in response?
And how many?
So this is why I've basically exclusively switched to armies that can fall back and do something in tournament play, because it's getting tagged is too much of a thing for a good player to spot and capitalize on. Playing preventative Warhammer the way that I was playing Astra Militarum last year, it is not my favorite way to play the game. And no matter how good you do of a job, the second you make a small mistake, the dice will punish you, as we've seen. And so I am moving on to every single tournament I've gone to this year has been Emperor's Children or Stormlands. That is all that I've played. I'm done. No more tagging me in combat. I tag you in combat. That's my play for now. But it's all about choices. It's all about choices. Good armies like Genestealer Cult can get tagged, and then the player can make choices to pull out of combat with casualty pulling. It's the ability to make relevant decisions, because I had a real problem when I was playing Guard, where I felt like I made all of my decisions pregame. And and my plan worked 95% of the time, I gotta say. And you saw it. When that plan worked, it was oppressive. But as soon as someone put a wrench in my gears, I just had to pedal harder, right? Like someone puts a stick in the bicycle spokes of the Guard War Machine, all you have to do is try to pedal hard enough to break the stick. Like, that is it. You can't stop the bike and pull it out. You just keep going. And so for me, the most skill expressive armies, there's ways to express skill. My preference is armies that get to make choices at every step of the game. Even if I don't have as much power, Emperor's Children does not have as much power as others, but Emperor's Children always make choices. If I have a model alive, I get to make a choice. And that's a big deal. And so for me, that's how I express my skill. There is skill expression in armies like Guard, though. It's just different types.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if you have your own view of it.
No, I agree with all of that. I think it very heavily relies on how many choices can I make if my opponent gives me this scenario. If I only have one decision point, that's not really an interesting army to play. If I can pick 3 or 4 different ways to play around this, maybe it's screening with fast screen. Maybe I go and tag them in combat. Maybe I can kill half the unit and then screen from there. Maybe I can use a particular stratagem to just debuff that unit. I just like having different ways to play around something. And typically I like playing armies with a lot more units. The more elite an army gets, the more punishing any single positional mistake is with that army. So
That's fair.
Something like, I really enjoy playing AdMech because I have a lot of decisions because I have so many different units.
Yeah. That's all good and true.
Even if I'm rolling nothing but strength 3-0 AP 1 damage shots.
I got an army for you.
Fog of Gore, Warhammer Kit Bashes, €5 super chat. Thank you so much. Guard Battleline Voxcasters should buff artillery, negate hit penalty, or strip cover. Makes indirect fire a bit better with counterplay possible.
I am okay with Guard having the best indirect in the game. However, I also believe from a game health perspective that indirect should never be getting buffs. I hate to say it. I like indirect. I miss Hive Guard. I miss Manticores. The game is better when Plagueburst Crawlers are bad. Not medium. Bad. And so I will never advocate for an indirect buff, I think.
Personally, how I would do indirect is very similar to how I do aircraft. I think those are two things that don't really fit into modern 40k. Yeah. How I would do them is rein back the damage. Don't make them damage units. Make them debuff units. By utilizing them, they make your opponent lose options in some different way. Yeah. There used to be a really interesting rule back in 9th edition with one of the AdMech flyers where you could turn off the use of stratagems nearby it. Something like that. Okay, you target this unit. Cool. It can't use this, or it's -1 save, or something like that.
I think the Basilisk is like peak indirect, honestly.
It has a deep mobility debuff.
Yeah, it's a mobility debuff. It is not that hard hitting. It has no reliability mechanics. It just shoots at a squad of Space Marines and kills 2 of them and slows them down.
Yep.
And that's okay.
Indirect should be chip damage because it's scattering damage all over the place. And then it should be mostly about a debuff, is what I think. Same thing for aircraft. Maybe they buff your army in a certain way by looking at opponents' units. Instead of making it, I just rip up these units and just kill them. Sorry, Storm Raven.
It's a skimmer.
Redrum, €2 super chat. Thank you so much. Siegs, what does Tau need? Still struggling win rate? I kind of went through the changes when I talked about Tau, but definitely they just need to play modern 40k in the ways I described. Almost Functional Gaming, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Remove the ridiculous keyword restrictions for Space Wolves and give me Champions of Rust back. Also, I miss you guys.
I think that's Matt Douthit. And yeah, I agree. Space Wolf Terminators can have their keywords. Space Wolves should have their keywords fixed. I agree.
John Apocalypse, £5 super chat. Thank you so much. Changes for Tau for me. Make the 6-inch Deep Strike 1 CP. Yes, it is the only, in Retaliation Cadre, the only
That's
2
fair.
CP one.
I'll give you that.
Let me choose the weapons buff and experimental Cadre strats and drop the Riptide in points. I think the Riptide should be an expensive platform, but with a better gun. Tau have so many weapons that are strength 8. I'm sorry, the gigantic ion weapon on a Hammerhead or a Riptide should not be the same as the Pathfinder's ion.
All right, I'll give you that one.
It's like, okay, come on. Can we have a little bit of diversity here in the weapon profiles? I think changing weapon strains would help Tau a lot so that you don't rely simply on Skyrays and a couple other data sheets. And then Lich King, $5 super chat. Necrons do need changes, options other than Wraiths and DDAs, more Catan, true melee, stats fixed on various units, Resorb on a Technomancer. Necrons have been in a very good spot since their codex. They've always had at least one competitive build. I think you're right that their internal diversity kind of swings rather significantly based on the meta. I do think they went too hard on Catan. I think the 6-inch move and their durability being mostly taking 4-up invulns has real weaknesses out in the meta. I don't think they need to be quite as expensive as they are. I love Catan.
Yeah, Catan are weird.
Basically all 300 points.
I do think that all of the Catan should go from half damage to -1 damage, and then go to move 8 or 9.
Their movement really restricts them. The better players you play, you feel the mobility, the lack of mobility.
Yeah.
thereafter. There was an excellent game John and I played where I played a 4 Catan build in Hypercrypt versus his Dark Angels, and we played on, I think it was like supply drop, like sweeping engagement, some weird mission. It was a really fantastic game, came down to the final turn, but the lack of mobility in the Catan really started to hurt me, even though the durability was excellent.
I do recall stranding a couple Catan and just like leaving them on objectives that they could only hold for one more turn, being like, all right, I'm headed to that one. Bye-bye.
But I think there could be some more done, and they have done good internal balance changes to Necrons. I think they lack a melee style, though, and maybe Catan could fit into that interestingly as well if they went for it. Ricky Chow, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Not familiar with Springsteen. What's he sound like?
He's trolling. I see you, Ricky.
You're not going to get us on that one. Oh, boy.
I mean, look, pick a dollar.
Open up
right?
YouTube right now and listen to Badlands, okay?
Yeah,
Be inspired.
Badlands is good.
Vorzak, 15-pound super chat. Thank you so much. Just got here. Any thoughts on how to help orcs out of their current predicament? Played my second ever in real life match this week. Congratulations. Again, Salamanders nearly lost my enthusiasm for the game entirely. Orcs right now have a very narrow band of competitive options because of variety of buffs or debuffs to their detachments and their points. They effectively, if you want to check it out, go to the link above that you see, theworm.vhx.tv, do the 3-day free trial. Michael's been playing Tactical Brigade and Warhorde recently. Those are the two main styles, and I still think that the combat-heavy style is the best way to play orcs. Just get on top of people, throw a billion attacks into them, get your beast bosses to kill monsters. And that playstyle, that combat-oriented one, really requires you to set up really very well where you don't take much damage and hit your opponent all at once in very clever, careful ways. And that style isn't the easiest to learn, so it's no surprise that you might struggle a little bit early on. But if you watch some of the content from us on orcs, as well as just get more experience playing it, you will elevate your orc game after that. But for a mostly combat army, reps matter a tremendous amount because there's a lot of tricks in the fight phase. And then we have Patrick Kill Commons. Thanks so much for your $10 super chat. Blows my mind that Angron sees play in World Eaters. He has horrible rules. I understand he's great into Knights, but he might as well not have rules. They're so relevant. How would you change his pick 3?
I would definitely replace his ignore hit mods with reroll hits aura again. Definitely that. And then I think he can just come down in points.
I think he's fine at his points right now. Frankly, what I would do is...
He's kind of expensive.
He's expensive. I would take away the comeback. Just get rid of that mechanic as a whole and just give him 3 better rules. 3 really strong, good rules. You use Angron as your resource. If he dies, he dies. I don't like the randomly. I roll 3
I don't like how random it is with him.
I like that it's half wounds, but I still get rid of that mechanic and just make him awesome with his pick 3.
I do. I think that from a game bounce perspective, that's easier. He does not need to come back to life. I get that they made that his lore, but whatever. He can just come back next game like everyone else. I would very much do that. I think
that makes it a lot simpler.
Just the comeback mechanic on Angron makes him. You can't make him too good. But then right now, he's only there because you have to be able to kill Knights.
Ricky Chow, thanks so much for your $10 super chat. John, help me out.
Ricky Chow, really appreciate your support. But unfortunately, last week you said, wow, you could have gotten a lot more money out of me. So here I am, not going in for $10. With that said, of course, we appreciate your super chats. It's a good song. Oscar Luckin with another one. John, do you think Tyranids need a better army rule? Yes. I love Shadows, but I'm hindered taking Synapse units. Correct. Also, +1 strength is awful. True. Okay. Tyranids need a mechanic rewrite, is my current opinion, where the cell phone tower aspect of 9th edition buffs. I think that and the problem is that this is purely a codex fix. You cannot FAQ this into the game. You need to reintroduce the cell phone tower synapse sharing mechanic as before, where if a synapse unit is in range of a unit, it changed down to being in synapse range of the Swarm Lord rather than just the nearest Tyranid warrior. And then you need command phase buffs to come back. Every synapse creature in Tyranids should gain just like not a points increase, nothing else. They should just gain a thing. And whatever that is, like Tyranid warriors give fallback, shoot, and charge. Hive Tyrant gives reroll hit rerolls. Swarmlord gives reroll wound rerolls, and it's one thing like that.
I think honestly, Tyranids and AdMech share this a lot in that the complexity of their army decreased dramatically from 9th to 10th, and it wasn't replaced by something that made the army consistent in other ways.
Yeah.
It was both of ours were command phase buffs for the most part, and they just don't do it. That you're supposed to elevate your data sheets to be consistent with your tech priests or your synapse units, and they never replace that mechanic. And I think both of them have suffered because of that.
Yep.
Because both armies are not the most consistent out there, and you need that at the top tournament play.
Yeah, and admittedly, I think both of those changes came around. They're both early edition codexes that were written with the looming specter of a 9th edition codex that was at times mildly overtuned for both AdMech and Tyranids. And so when they decreased the complexity and took away the consistency and never put something back in, that has been haunting both factions this entire edition. I think Tyranids have come off better than AdMech for it, but each of the armies has struggled with that at various points. And still does, truthfully. Tyranids, you can try to play around the consistency issue, but it's a hard army to play.
It is.
Sometimes a knight army just says, you don't get to play around this, either kill me or don't. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
We need to get back to tier A nids once these Knights and Death Guard are out of here.
I think that's what they need.
There's another super chat, John.
There is from Ricky Chow, $20. How much more? Ricky Chow, you already made a comment saying that we're going to have to Richard this week. How am I getting targeted here? How much for Richard? Richard's the one who gets these super chats. I don't get these super chats. I just do it because I love the company. I owe my soul to the company store. That's what's happening right now. I didn't get $1 for last week, Ricky. Take it up with Nick.
I think
super chats go straight to Nick.
If you haven't checked out the stream from last week, check it out. John's golden voice was in effect. And that's what Ricky's referring to. We got Muzzbuzz here. Remember, 23 months at the War in Bronze with Space Marine codexes going the way of Black Templars. No oath and supplements help or hinder going forward. We definitely went through this significantly towards the beginning. So if you want to check out I think when we talked about Dark Angels, we talked especially about this, Dark Angels in that Black Templar section. 100% we think that's the way the supplements should go and get a different rule. There's another super chat, John.
There is. This is Ricky Chow. This one's for you. What about 4 lines starting with something you can't start a fire? Come on, Siegs.
You can't start a fire?
Well, without a spark. It's Dancing in the Dark. Yeah. For a second, I thought we were going Billy Joel with this one. I'm like, did Ricky just change artists on us? I'm like, no. This is Dancing in the Dark.
I will not be singing on
stream. Oh my God. All right. Well,
however,
we know who's the fun one then, Ricky.
However, I can definitely list songs that I like for sure. Thank you, Ricky. We very much appreciate your support. Lich King, $5 super chat. John, quick question. With the new meta, what would you use into knights as a Necron? Canis, 2 big knights, 6 little walkers. Your thoughts? All
right, Richard, you're not allowed to answer this. I obviously know enough about Necrons for this one. Oh boy. Oh man, this is hard. All right, so you know what I would do? I would switch to Canoptic Court. Let's get 3 Doomstalkers in the back.
They're so immobile, John.
Correct. All right, all jokes aside, Richard, do you want to give a Necron answer?
If you're trying to tailor a bit more for knights, you would go for triple DDA. You would go down to 1 Wraith unit. All you need is 1 to kind of yo-yo and just block them for a turn.
Yeah, sure.
You still want -1 damage Silent King. And then you would look at adding additional resources that help your damage consistency in Star Shatter. So that could be stuff like the Scorpic units going in can help finish off knights. Otherwise, you have a variety of other kind of stuff that's on the outskirts. You technically could go for 3 Doomsday Arcs and 3 the Doomstalkers.
Yeah.
So you could go for 6 of those and just go have kind of a walker heavy army with the reroll 1s to hit 1s to wound from the king. That's not bad for trying to tailor for knights. It's a lot of durability spread throughout the board.
That's true.
With the reactive move.
Yeah.
Critical Wilt, $5 super chat. What do you think about Votann changing army rules? Seems like a major identity change. Also, do you think Votann should be a 3+ ballistic skill army? Great questions. So I'm all for Votann changing significantly because I think their current design space is just very limited. I personally believe that they should have more units that have BS and weapon skill 3+, not just Hearthguard and the characters. I think that probably the vehicles as well. Anything that has the Ironkin guys is basically, mechanized in a way that enhances their output. So I would probably look at doing something like that.
Yeah.
Like making it a little more diverse. Like Warriors, totally, they can hit on 4s, no problem. But I think their more elite units definitely should hit on 3s. Like Berserk should hit on 3s in combat. They should be weapon skill 3+.
Yeah, I think that's
they're an elite
very
combat
reasonable.
unit. Come on.
All right, we got another super chat.
Ricky Chow, $100. Boo this man.
Boo this man.
Why are you booing?
I think he's booing you for not saying. Turn on the regular one. I want to see what everyone's saying here.
Oh yeah, let's see.
Mean,
we're deep in the chats. I bet Michael Mann would have done it. I got a tap. I'm premium, baby. Premium
oh my God.
content.
What's the cost?
Basically, think of me as Murderbot, right?
I did it for free. Is all I'm saying. I did it for free.
I never said that I would ever sing.
I agree that, but I'm just asking what's the cost.
I don't know what the cost is because I don't want to do it.
Oh my God.
I think of me like Murderbot. I've been around human beings for too long. I want to go back to watch my premium content.
If we put a, oh my God, if we put a,
have you watched that yet?
I have not. What is this?
It's called the Murderbot Diaries. There's an Apple TV show, but it's based on a book series that's excellent.
I've not seen it.
It's very good.
We got to get a super chat clause into my contract here because, all these super chats keep going to Art of War. Like, I want these super chats. We used to feed Quentin with them, and now Nick uses it to get commission painters to paint his Eldar army. That's the super chat.
Well, no, John, he repaints other people's Eldar armies. Too soon.
That's the Quentin model refund fund. Omnipulous with another super chat. The masses call for more AdMech content. Thoughts on both Striders with Disintegrators being so good? Anti-Walker 2+ ain't cutting it like others said.
So thanks so much for the question. Also love the name. I have been running in my latest list 3 Disintegrators and 3 units of 2 Iron Striders. I ran that at the GT a couple weeks ago, and it did excellent. So I'm very happy with that amount of tank output. I did end up beating Imperial Knights. It's the only Knight player that I did play against, but I was confident I could go into other builds as well. So
yeah. I've
been happy with that amount of anti-tank, and I did have Belisarius Calls. They have reroll 1s. I have the long range. I just block them from getting within range of me, and I just say, you want to stay here? I'm going to hit on 2s rerolling 1s next turn. You want that? You want a piece of me? And they did not want a piece of me.
They didn't? That's crazy.
They didn't.
That's crazy.
Canis did not want that.
All right, fair enough. All right.
Can you pass this to Nick to do a full karaoke stream? Look, I will put that up, and we will see if people want to do it.
St. Michael, I do karaoke sober because that's the only way I could do it. All I need is Richard to give me some of that little super chat sweetness, right? Like money's right there. Just get that over to John's bank account, and we'll start doing this.
YouTube be taking.
I just want 60% of the super chats that make me sing. Just 60%. I'm asking,
Are you saying it's absurd that John doesn't drink? I also don't drink. Hence the young-looking face.
Yep.
So, John and I are basically the same in that aspect.
Oh, in that. All right. In that one, I'll give you that one. I was like, yeah.
What, you think?
I would say that we're different in other ways.
No, in terms of the looks you were saying?
Oh, not what I was going. Just like I meant as a whole picture.
Yes.
A whole picture, because I do cool armies and you don't.
It's absurd to do karaoke sober.
Yeah,
probably.
You know what? I've actually never done karaoke. It sounds fun, but I've never done it. But apparently, I've sung in front of more people than I would at a standard bar. So maybe I'm ready for it.
Apparently, you were, because everybody commented on it. You're the golden god of singing here.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, I think we've caught up on all the super chats here. Ricky Chow, I will pass that on to Nick, and we'll see if that excites him in a special way. Because I know he enjoys some tomfoolery every now and again.
Nick does enjoy some tomfoolery.
maybe we can come up with
April 1st Art of War karaoke, 10 songs. That could be fun.
If somebody wants to come up with some 40k related songs too, like a demons related, come on, John, that would be funny.
It would be like, who's gonna write a song?
This guy is super chatting for karaoke lines.
That's fair.
I'm sure people have the creativity to come up with unique 40k songs. John, you're the best, John. Mamma Mia again. Again? Is that what you sang, Mamma Mia?
It was Mamma Mia.
All right, I need to go back and watch this.
Did you not watch it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you just read the comments and never watched it?
Yeah, I read the comments, but I didn't have time to watch it.
Fair enough. It was Mamma Mia.
All right, I'm gonna go back.
I love Mamma Mia.
Everybody go back and watch John sing Mamma Mia last Thursday's live show.
It's true. Can't do it every week.
Maybe next Thursday's live show if you're good.
Next Thursday I will not be here.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying this video. If you did, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and tell your friends about us. All of that massively helps us grow. In addition, leave a comment below letting us know what you think you want most in the balanced data slate. I think there's a lot of open ideas. Like we had some very good discussions here. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? What did we miss? What do you want to add? We'd love to hear from you. And like I said, a lot of people from Games Workshop do watch streams like this. They do read the comments. So if you have good ideas, if you have particular opinions about your army, it's all for the health of the game. The people who run the game are very open to new ideas, so post them. It really does help. And thank you so much overall for joining. Thank you, John, for coming by and hanging out. Next week we will do the Black Templars and Grey Knights talk that we promised you for this week. It will be coming, but we just have to wait for Mr. Jack to be ready.
There you go.
Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you all very soon for more content. So long for now.
Bye bye.